Hi, everyone. I am recording in my living room because I don't feel like walking to my office. Okay. Well, one of my offices. How about that? So I'm being lazy on this Friday evening. But I thought it would be good for me to I thought it would be kind of cool. Let me use another one. Oh no, I don't want that. um I'll keep it blur. I thought it'd be kind of cool to do this tonight and get it out of the way. So this episode didn't really have much, but I watched Carlos King and he did his review with SoGucci. And he said that this was the most explosive one of the season. So I'm not sure how that works. But anyway, um, I want to address so okay. Let me I'll wait to the end to kind of get into what SoGucci said, because even SoGucci's comment still didn't resonate with me. I still was a little on the confused side as to why the hostility was there. So let's start off with Latrice. Ah, Latrice meets with Selena, and Latrice meets with Selena and at Diva Dolls. Hold on. And for this wig release party, they're supposed to be finding clothes for her. Selena claims that SoGucci cannot be cordial, um, and that she wasn't really consistent with the kids. Sorry, y'all. Had to tell my kids to pipe down. Okay. Okay. And then and that she wasn't consistent with the kids. Now let me pause here and say that listening to um what's his name? Carlos King, sorry. Interview was SoGucci. She explained that she was the one who was in care of the kids a lot. And she was very consistent with the kids to the and whereas Selena was out doing whatever with the kid, doing whatever and not really taking care of and running the streets, right? And so it's kind of interesting listening to, I'm not sure who's to believe, because Selena has a whole different remembrance of what took place. So which one do you believe is accurate? I don't know. I guess you'd have to talk to the kids. And I know at the end, or I think a preview for next episode, um, Selena's kids are saying that SoGucci has been more disrespectful to their mother and to the kids. And I honestly think that makes a lot more sense. That resonates to me more because this is probably really the core reason as to why the wedding took place and nobody told JJ, because they don't want to be bothered with the mother, but with his wife. That makes more sense to me than listening to other people's comments about how JJ may be as a father. Because if JJ is the one who at some parts was taking care of the kids at the house and had custody of the kids more and was in the kids' life more consistently, then Selena, which is what Selena was what at least JJ and SoGucci put off, but also if you also used to watch the other reality show, you used to see JJ consistently just because he's, he's JJ. So I do think that he was more involved, and so that's probably why he was more shocked that he didn't get an invite. But I think that a lot of this, unfortunately, stems from SoGucci. I don't believe SoGucci, y'all. I don't believe SoGucci, and the reason why I don't believe SoGucci is because even when I watched the interview, I somewhat could understand, but then I watched the show at the very end. I know I'm skipping forward at the party, and there was no rhyme or reason for hostility towards Selena. What's the point? What is the problem? What has Selena didn't say anything. She was just making you, she pulled you like, am I the only person here that you see? Like I admittedly can be very rude, but I absolutely, I absolutely would say something. If I wouldn't say something, I'd wave. And I'm gonna be honest, I would not walk up to some people and say hi to everyone but one person here. I wouldn't say hi to none of you. I just stay over in my corner. And then when you're by yourself, then I may speak to you. But I'm not going to purposely, someone speaks to me and they're over there, I would say, hey, from afar, but I wouldn't walk over and give a hug and start a little conversation and then not acknowledge the person standing next to them unless there was genuine beef. And so now this goes back to, I may have, and I'm gonna be honest, I'll be honest again. My husband has a daughter, and me and her do not get along. We've spoken and before, and I attempted to kind of get along then and well before then. But by the time that we actually did speak, we had no we were cordial and shady. And the response that I was getting out of her was, let me know that you are a habitual liar, and therefore I can't reason, I can't negotiate a pathway to peace with a habitual liar. And thus, we haven't seen each other since, and it's been years. And I purposely am not around because I don't ever want to interfere in the relationship that he has with his daughter. And I know that if I am around and was consistently rude to her, then she would use that against him. So instead, I know that I can be rude only to her, and therefore I have removed myself from ever having to be present. My kids can have a relationship with her, with the daughter, and I am team whatever the daughter needs. Let's go grab it. Let's do whatever. I haven't had a relationship with the little girl and since she was like 2. Like she was 2 or 3. Like she was very young. Now she's a teenager. So it's, and that's just, for a number of reasons is, the point is that for a number of reasons, because I don't go to visitation and stuff like that. So, um, I think keeping the peace and knowing my limits is important. So with SoGucci, her reaction and this is another thing that I don't understand too. I think that if there was, when our kids become full adults, which is not that far away, and even now, I would have zero reason, like I probably would say hello. I'd give a dry hello. We don't need to talk. And if she did start talking to me, I'd be like, yeah, you need to go through the father. And then he can let me know what we doing, because I'm not stepping out of a boundary. But so like our relationship is nil, and it'll always be nil. But will we get to the point that we would be yelling and screaming? No. Our kids are like our and that's our kids now. But I can't imagine our kids being that old and me yelling and screaming over what? Like, I don't get it. So Gucci, and then Gucci wants to relitigate on the interview what she did for the girls and how she neglected her own child to help take care of JJ's daughters, and that's the tension between her daughters. And so Gucci, you may be telling the truth, but ma'am, your energy was not warranted. And that's a fact. Selena even made a comment about how, like, and she made a dig though too. She goes, Selena's like, the many names, I don't know, what is she calling herself now? Shantae, I was like, oh, so I mean, I'm glad to know that SoGucci is not her natural name, because SoGucci is a horrible name to be putting on somebody's birth certificate. Anyway, and then this little tidbit, well, it took Latrice. She's just mad that he's still in love with his ex, because it took him 30 years to get a divorce. I'm like, 30 years. Can we do some math? How old are these people? Okay. Leticia and Gwen go to visit grandma at the hospice care with grandma, and well, she's going into hospice. Okay. So Glenn is upset about grandma and is feeling away that she's dying, and he's like, well, everything's going to be all right. And Monique was like, pause. You don't know what we go through on a daily day. And she's suffering. And every morning she's asking for the good Lord to take her. And I was like, so wait a second, y'all. Y'all are in driving distance. And how often, I don't mean to be disrespectful, because I want to tread lightly here, but you live in driving distance of your grandmother, and you have no idea, and you care this much, right? So how often do you can't be visiting Hardly ever. If you don't know what's happening on at least a month to month, let alone a day to day, fine. If you don't want to come come once a week, fine. But you should come like at least once a month, maybe once every 2 months, and then you'd realize this wouldn't catch you by so much of a surprise that your grandmother is deteriorating. And so much so to the point that you're not here. She's like, you're not here to take care of. So to say everything's gonna be all right, and the woman's like in her 90s and she's suffering, you should want her to have peace. But I hate to ridicule people because everyone deals with an aging parent differently, right? And I happen to be someone who is very close to my grandmother, and I can't imagine other people anybody in my family, I would say, that would be in driving distance that would never come to visit. And, and even if you never came to visit, I think I'm gonna need you to pick up the phone. And in the time of technology at this point, you can do FaceTime, Skype, um, Zoom, something to communicate with your grandparents. So I find I'm hoping that all of this was for camera, because right now this whole scene kind of makes you feel a little bit sketch, in my opinion. Um, Maria and Leticia meet up. Leticia apologized to Marie about how Marie talks about how this was a trigger. Glenn was a trigger for her because of her relationship with her husband and how he was like, um, her marriage was trifling for sure. She set Marie on a blind date with a dude named, I wish I had, I wish I wasn't on my contacts because I would put my glasses on right now and I'm having my son go get my glasses. Go get my glasses for me. Because and this is not, I'm only doing it for effect because having double lenses is probably not good for my eyes. But this right here angered me to no end. Because I need for you to understand that you have a friend who is a multimillionaire. Okay. I'm waiting for my glasses. You have a friend, Marie, the top drawer at the top, when you sit down to the left. You have a friend who is who's a multimillionaire, ma'am, and you set her up on a date. I went to the movies like all day today. Thank you, my love. You want to feed him a bone? Yeah. Feed him a bone. Okay. You have, okay. See, my glasses makes me not look. I can't see nothing. But let's read the name here. Leia. You set her up, a multimillionaire, up on a date with a man named Playa. That is so ridiculous. I don't even know what to say. And then had the audacity to tell her, well, that's his nickname. Anybody with a nickname named Playa is not someone that anybody who's a multimillionaire is trying to date. Heck, I'm not a multimillionaire, and I would never want to be said. I don't care when I was 20, when I was 30. Marie has kids and grandkids. She does not want to be set up on a date with a man who has a nickname named Playa. And they go bowling. Yeah, I mean, it's fine to have a kiki. She had a non-disclosure agreement, which I thought was hilarious and was in the biggest print that I have never seen. Like, you literally did this for TV. There's zero possibility that you're going to have font that's 42-point font standing there talking about non-disclosure agreement, and then you have him sign the next paper talking about, I have so much to lose. Ma'am, anybody named Player with not natural colored teeth in the front on all over his mouth is, because we don't do grills. I was for a date, and this is how he dresses, and look, no shade, he can do this. Like, I think it's perfectly legit and perfectly fine, but that is not someone that I would be interested in being with, and she should know that her friend is not like that. I was so disappointed. Marie was like, you are so wrong for this. And I would say, I agree, Leticia, you are so foul for that date. And any time that you thought that this was a dude, this explains everything in the world as to how you ended up with Glenn and why you still are with Glenn, even though you trying to play for us, saying that you and Glenn aren't together. So now we have this thinking about Leticia and Glenn. They go on a date night themselves, and he's like, I want my family back. Yes, what are they doing? And she's like, yeah, we're not together. She leaves and then he's like, yeah, this is what happens once they get their money up. They start acting funny, because he's like, you should be doing what I think we should be doing. Like, I take the lead, so here we go. And I think they just playing. Talking about, you're not gonna take my kid from me. Okay, I don't, like, this is the same argument. All I was thinking about is somebody better be playing that check. Um, Somebody be putting some money on the table. Latrice and Mandy were showing up at her new place, and she has all her remodeling ideas. She's talking about how Cliff has his vision on the building, and she has hers, and I'm not gonna let him do this, take over or whatever. And as soon as she's saying that, he walks in. He's hearing her. I mean, the man is a ninja when it comes to eavesdropping on her. He's like, yeah, you were talking about me. No, I wasn't. I mean, why we gotta lie? I mean, because what you were talking about wasn't so bad that it's warranted lying. All you were saying is, I want something different, and we need to work this out. And again, we got our captions listening to Cliff. I don't really care. I think that he knows best, and he's gonna tell her what she should and should not be doing. And that's what it is. That's on that. Finally, Latrice has this event with Pretty Slayer, which is Amanda's salon. It's the release of the wig line. Her thing is, because it can't be at her place because of all the renovations and the building, and and everything else. So she has all the models reflect on what is wearing a wig for each of the Belles. None of this was a compliment. All of it was rude. 100% of it was rude. And I don't know. I mean, I get that we're being shady. I get that being shady is good TV, but I just don't understand why we just have to be this way all the time. It's unnecessary. It really is. But fine. Um, she explains that Josh still works for her, but she was upset about the fact that he was telling her business. Now, to be fair, I agree. She shouldn't be telling her, he should not be telling her business and to other people. And it looks like he's not gonna get any more. I don't know if he's gonna get more TV time, but it's definitely not gonna be given the same, knowing that he's gonna be telling all her business. And so their friendship is kind of waning. Everybody comes to the party except Marie. Understandable. And like I said, Selena was like, so what are we calling her again? What are we calling her at this moment? And then he's like, oh, SoGucci. Okay, cool. So SoGucci, you walking by me and you're not talking. Like I said, now I don't understand why SoGucci's response is like, well, you didn't talk to me at the baby shower. I still don't understand the big hostility and to say that she's an extra and you don't need to talk to extras. I just don't understand why this level of hostility is needed. Like I said earlier, I just think it was just flat out rude. And now it turns into this whole I was married to him first. Have y'all seen JJ? Maybe he looked different and better when he but even in him looking different and better, that still doesn't negate like how he talks to people. Like his speech pattern. Yeah. He's we're not fighting over this dude, right? Right. On who's first and who's second. Okay. I just feel like, and then, like I said, the Carlos King interview, she shades her the entire 40 something minutes of the interview, and at the end be like, but she's pretty and she's good TV. Okay. I don't know. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't see the point in being this rude and ugly. Forgive me. And with that being said, I mean, it's unfortunate two people weren't really, I mean, Akeisha was kind of involved in the last bit of it. Is it Akeisha? Akila? She she made a comment allegedly. She made the comment, but she didn't really respond. I agree that it is strange that Selena and Latrice are so close, especially knowing that Cliff is saying that they used to have that he had a relationship with Selena. I think relationship is too kind of a word, but they had an situationship. Um, that's weird. I mean, maybe you can call it kind of mature because they're not focused on the past and everything, but I'm actually kind of surprised that Cliff's not there today because I mean, what stops him from coming? And with that being said, have a great rest of your evening.